The unexpected reunion. The morning sun cast long shadows through the glass doors of DJ Bank as Ronaldo pushed them open. It was just another Tuesday, or so he thought. The air conditioning hit him immediately, a welcome relief from the scorching heat outside. He had come to deposit his monthly salary check, a routine task he'd done 100 times before. As Ronaldo stood in line, scrolling through his phone, he heard a voice that sent him tumbling back through time. "Ronaldo? Ronaldo Martinez? Is that really you?" He looked up to see a face he hadn't seen in 8 years. Marcus Chen, his best friend from college, the guy who had once convinced him to skip finals week to drive cross-country. The same person who had been his partner in every crazy adventure during their youth. But this wasn't the Marcus he remembered. Gone was the confident swagger, the designer clothes, the perpetual smile. This Marcus looked broken. His eyes were bloodshot, his clothes wrinkled, and there was a desperation in his face that Ronaldo had never seen before. "Marcus! Oh my God, man! How long has it been?" Ronaldo embraced him, feeling how thin his old friend had become. Marcus pulled away quickly, his eyes darting around the bank nervously. 8 years, brother. 8 long years." His voice cracked slightly. "Listen, I know this is out of the blue, but can we talk outside? It's important." Ronaldo's instinct was to say yes immediately. This was Marcus, the guy who had once lent him $3,000 for his mother's surgery without hesitation. The friend who had talked him out of dropping out of college during his darkest moment. But something in Marcus's eyes made him pause. It wasn't just desperation, it was something deeper, something almost frightening. They walked outside to a small cafe adjacent to the bank. Marcus ordered nothing, just sat with his hands clasped tightly together, knuckles white. Ronaldo ordered 2 coffees, hoping the familiar ritual might ease whatever was coming. "I'm going to be straight with you because we don't have time for me to sugarcoat this," Marcus began, his words tumbling out rapidly. "I'm in serious trouble, Ron, the kind of trouble that doesn't just go away. I owe money to some very dangerous people." Ronaldo felt his stomach drop. "What kind of money are we talking about?" $50,000. Marcus's voice was barely a whisper. "I got involved in some investments that went south. Then I borrowed from the wrong people to try to fix it. They've given me until Friday. That's 3 days, Ron. 3 days, or..." He didn't finish the sentence, but he didn't need to. The number hung in the air between them like a guillotine. $50,000. Ronaldo made decent money as a software engineer, but that was more than half his annual salary. It was his emergency fund, his security, his future. "Marcus, I don't have that kind of cash just lying around," Ronaldo said carefully. "I'm not asking you to give it to me," Marcus interrupted, leaning forward intensely. "I have a deal closing next week, a real estate flip I've been working on for months. It's going to pay out 80 grand, guaranteed. I just need to borrow enough to pay these guys off, and I'll pay you back double, I swear on my mother's grave." Ronaldo's mind raced. Marcus's mother had passed away 5 years ago. He remembered seeing the obituary on Facebook. For Marcus to swear on her mother's grave meant this was real, this was serious. But $50,000, that wasn't just trust, that was insanity. "Look," Marcus continued, pulling out his phone and showing Ronaldo documents, contracts, emails. "This is all legitimate. The property is in escrow, the buyer is secured, everything is in place. I just need a bridge loan for 4 days. 4 days, Ron, please. You're the only person I can trust." Ronaldo stared at the documents, his engineering brain trying to analyze every detail. They looked legitimate, but he wasn't a real estate expert. What he did know was human nature, and right now every fiber of his being was screaming 2 contradictory messages. "This is your brother, help him," and "This is too much, protect yourself." Then Marcus did something that changed everything. He started crying. Not gentle tears, but deep,
body-shaking sobs. "They beat me up last week," he said, lifting his shirt to reveal yellowing bruises across his ribs. "They said next time they'll kill me, and they know where my sister lives, Ron. They know about her kids. I can't let anything happen to them." In that moment, Ronaldo made a decision that would change both their lives. He reached into his pocket, pulled out his ATM card, and placed it on the table between them. "The PIN is 7749, Ronaldo said quietly, placing the card on the table between them. "Take what you need. But Marcus, I need you to understand something. This isn't just money. This is 8 years of savings. This is my trust in who you used to be, in who I hope you still are."
You were always the smart one. You idiot, Ronaldo said, and then he started crying. You absolute idiot. Why didn't you just tell me? Would you have given me the money if I told you I was dying? Marcus asked simply. Or would you have tried to give it to me as a gift? And then where would I be? Living my last months knowing I took your savings and couldn't pay you back? So instead, you decided to let me think you were a thief? Let me spend weeks hating you? Marcus looked away, ashamed. I was going to call you after the treatment when I knew if it was working or not. If it didn't work, well, I figured you'd find out anyway. If it did work, I could pay you back from the property sale and you'd never have to know the truth. That's the dumbest plan I've ever heard, Ronaldo said, pulling a chair beside the bed. And I once watched you try to microwave pizza in tin foil. Despite everything, Marcus laughed, then winced in pain. Remember that? The whole dorm nearly burned down. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of years and words unsaid hanging between them. Finally, Ronaldo spoke. How's the treatment going? Early days yet. The doctors are cautiously optimistic. The tumor hasn't spread as much as they feared. This treatment, it's experimental, but it's shown an 80% success rate in early trials. Without it, I had maybe 6 months. With it, I might have years, decades even. That money wasn't just for treatment, was it? Marcus shook his head. The treatment is $40,000. The other 10, my sister's kids, college funds. If I don't make it, I wanted to leave them something. My property sale will cover the rest, set them up properly, but I needed to know at least their education was secured. You helped me do that. Ronaldo felt his anger dissolving, replaced by a profound sadness and an equally profound respect. You're still an idiot, but you're my idiot. Over the next few weeks, Ronaldo visited Marcus every day. He brought books, movies, terrible hospital cafeteria jokes. He held Marcus's hand during the rough days when the treatment made him sick. He celebrated with him when the first scans showed the tumor shrinking. One evening, as the sun set through the hospital window, painting the room in shades of gold and amber, Marcus pulled out an envelope from his bedside drawer. The property closed yesterday, he said, handing the envelope to Ronaldo. Count it. Inside was a cashier's check, but it wasn't for $50,000. It was for $100,000. Marcus, this is double what I gave you, like I promised, plus interest for the emotional trauma I put you through. The property sold for more than expected. Marcus smiled, looking more like his old self than he had in months. Turns out, dying gives you excellent negotiating skills. Buyers feel bad lowballing someone with cancer. That's horrible, Ronaldo said, but he was laughing through tears. I have 3 more months of treatment, Marcus continued, his tone growing serious. After that, the doctors will know if I'm going into remission or, well, the other option. But Ron, I need you to know something. That day at the bank, when you handed me your card, that wasn't just money. You gave me something more important. What's that? A reason to fight. I was so close to giving up, to just accepting my fate. But when you trusted me with everything you had, when you looked at me like I was still the person you remembered from college and not some dying stranger, you reminded me who I used to be, who I could still be. Marcus's voice cracked with emotion. The doctors told me that patients who have strong emotional support during treatment have significantly better outcomes. You gave me that. You gave me hope. The money was just money, Ron. Your trust, that's what actually saved my life. Ronaldo squeezed his friend's hand, unable to speak past the lump in his throat. 6 months later, Marcus was declared in remission. The experimental treatment had worked beyond anyone's expectations. Ronaldo stood beside him at the hospital's exit, both of them walking into the sunshine of a new day. They started a foundation together, the Trust Fund, using part of Marcus's property proceeds to help cancer patients afford experimental treatments. The irony of the name was not lost on either of them. At the foundation's launch party, Marcus stood at the podium, stronger now, his hair growing back, color returned to his face. This organization exists because one man decided that trust was more important than money, because one friend decided that belief in someone's character was worth more than his savings account. We're calling it the Trust Fund, not just because we fund treatments, but because we believe that trust itself is the greatest medicine. He looked at Ronaldo in the audience. My friend gave me my ATM card and my PIN without hesitation, but what he really gave me was the faith that I was worth saving, that I was still the person he believed me to be. In our darkest moments, sometimes we need someone to see us, not as we are, but as who we can become again. That's what true friendship is. That's what trust really means. As the crowd applauded, Ronaldo thought back to that morning at DJ Bank. If he had it to do over again, would he still hand over his ATM card, knowing everything that happened, all the fear and uncertainty and pain? The answer came to him clearly. Absolutely. Because some bets are worth making, some people are worth believing in, and sometimes the riskiest investment we can make is the one that pays the greatest dividends, not in dollars, but in the human soul. Marcus's scans continued to come back clean. The cancer remained in remission. His sister's kids got their college education, and two friends who had almost lost each other found something stronger than they'd ever had before. A friendship forged not just in good times, but tested in the crucible of life's hardest moments and emerging unbreakable. Years later, when people asked Ronaldo about the craziest thing he'd ever done, he would tell them about the day he gave his ATM card to a friend he hadn't seen in 8 years. And when they asked him if he'd been scared, he'd smile and say, "Terrified, but some things are worth being terrified for." Because in the end, trust isn't about knowing someone won't let you down. It's about deciding they're worth the risk, even if they do. It's about seeing the best in people, even when they can't see it in themselves. And sometimes, just sometimes, that leap of faith changes everything. The ATM card that changed 2 lives now sits in a frame in the Trust Fund's office, a reminder that the most valuable currency we have isn't stored in banks, it's stored in the bonds we forge with each other, and the courage it takes to believe in someone when the world gives us every reason not to.